Hi, my name is Zach. Today I'm going to tell you about one of the most exciting stories of my life. Before I start, please make sure to subscribe and turn your notification on. So, there was a friend of my sister's, Jane, on whom I had a crush. Her name was Sally, and I had known her since my childhood. At that time, she used to wear braces and had messy hair, but as time passed, she started grooming herself and looks ravishing now. I always used to tease Sally a lot whenever she used to visit her place in her childhood, but as we grew up and matured, I stopped all those. In fact, we stopped talking to each other and our conversations were limited to, "Hey, how are you?" only. Jane didn't know I had a crush on Sally, and even I didn't try much on her because on every year, on my sister's birthday, she would show up with a new boyfriend. So I assumed that Sally isn't short of guys and she will never think about me. Sally was beautiful in her very own way. Her brown eyes were always smiling and her ponytail would just make her look so amazing. Her choice of clothes was commendable and everything she used to wear suited her perfectly. Besides being amazingly beautiful, she was great at heart. She always used to support my sister in her bad times and has been a great source of help in her studies as well. I was always thinking about how I could ask Sally out. I was afraid that she will tell Jane, and that would be one embarrassing situation for me at home. One day, Sally came to her place and I heard that she had a breakup with her boyfriend. She was crying in her home and was telling Jane the story, how his boyfriend dumped her. Jane, being the amazing and supportive friend, helped her in coping up. I really felt bad for her. The way she was crying broke my heart, and I decided that I will ask her out soon. A few days passed by and my exams were near. I was preparing for my exams at home. My mother was very unhappy with my previous results and asked me to concentrate on my studies. Otherwise, she warned me that she will take strict action against me. So one day, my mother and sister were getting ready to go out to a community dinner, and Sally came in. She was looking beautiful as always. Right after coming in, she kept her handbag on the couch and asked me where my sister is. I told her she was upstairs, after which Sally also went upstairs. My mom called me in her room and asked me that she wants me to study tonight and not go out until she returns. I also was concerned about my studies, and I assured her I won't be going out and I will stay focused on my studies. Moments later, my sister came downstairs in my mom's room, and then they both left for the community dinner. I also picked up my school bag and went to my room. I entered my room and started unpacking my bag while sitting on my bed, when suddenly Sally appeared from the washroom of my room. So we both were shell-shocked seeing each other. Sally wasn't expecting me to be there when she comes out, and I wasn't expecting her to appear from my washroom, clearly. So it was an awkward moment in which we were caught, but then I broke the silence and asked her, "What are you doing here?" I'm coming out of the bathroom, so it clearly means I was using it. Did you mind it?" she replied. I was embarrassed at this question, but then I regained myself and asked, "I meant to say that how come you ended up here in my room's bathroom?" To which she replied, "I was passing by from here, so I decided to drop by your house as I was missing your sister, so I rushed to her room, but it was locked. I wanted to use the bathroom, so the door of your room was open, so I decided to use it. I think your sister must have unlocked her room by now, so I'll go and meet her. Thank you and sorry for the disturbance." At this moment, I came to know that she doesn't know that my mom and sister were out on a community dinner. "Hey, Sally, wait." I asked her to stop, when she was approaching the door. I think that you don't know that Mom and Jane are out for a dinner organized by the church community. They both will be coming late back home. Oh no! I must have called Jane before coming. She looked disappointed. I was getting so bored and needed someone to have a chat with. Why don't you sit with me for a chat? I think we haven't talked much since our childhood. So I strike while the ironess was hot. Okay, that is quite a decent option, I reckon, she said, and she jumped on the bed beside me. We discussed a bit about my studies, and some movies, and our lives, and relationships. So she told me about her previous boyfriends, whom she dated in the past few years. I also told her about the one and only girlfriend which I had in high school, who dumped me for a nerd. We both laughed hard, reliving old days and our childhood memories. She was one hell of a funny girl, and I really enjoyed her company. The two things that kept me restrained to her were her shiny brown eyes and her beautiful petal-like lips. I was constantly looking at those, and that's when things started to change. I got close to her and I kissed her on the lips, but after a few moments I pushed myself back, realizing my impulsive action. I put my head down, saying sorry, but then suddenly she leaned towards me and this time she kissed me. I was awestruck how things unfolded in the last few moments. I didn't know what to do and things were starting to move ahead when suddenly the doorbell rang. Oh gosh, never in my life had I hated the doorbell so much than I hated it in that moment. So Sally gathered herself and started to leave the room while I ran towards the door. I opened the door and saw my mom and Jane standing there. My bubble of fantasy just got burst there as my mom and Jane stepped into the house. I was saddened by this as my long-awaited moment just ended so abruptly. That's when I heard Sally from the back, who was telling Jane that she just came to meet her and they both went to Jane's room. I was kicking my fate at that moment, and later whenever she came up and we met and I couldn't see her eye to eye while she acted just like nothing happened. I feel so awful and embarrassed whenever I see her in my house.